The HomePod Mini getting a software update wouldn't normally be a big deal, but the update to 16.3 activates hardware that's been sitting within the speakers since release, going totally unused. With the update, it eliminates the need for some alternative smart home sensors, saving you money, all while enabling new automations to make your HomeKit smart home more comfortable. Here are the details and a few recommendations for how you can make use of the HomePod's new features. It was reported a long time ago that the HomePod Mini had a temperature and humidity sensor hidden away within the units. It was speculated that these could be enabled with a software update, and at last, that's happened. As Apple released the new larger HomePod, replacing the discontinued original HomePod, they began advertising the device as having a humidity and temperature sensor built in. The same day, they released the 16.3 update for the HomePod Mini to developers, enabling that long hidden sensor. In addition, the device will be updated to support sound recognition for things like smoke alarms, but that isn't coming till later this spring. Now, 16.3 is available to everyone, so to make use of the HomePod Mini sensors, you'll need to have both your HomePod and your phone updated to 16.3. For me, I actually had to remove the HomePod Mini from my home and re-add it for the Home app to recognize the sensors. After that, it takes some time for the sensors to calibrate, and then you'll see the readings within the Home app. They'll show up when you open the room the HomePod's in, or when you open the climate section. Now, these aren't the most accurate sensors available. Apple notes they're most accurate between 30 and 70% humidity and 59 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Basically, they're designed for indoor, climate-controlled areas where a HomePod would normally be used. Similarly, if you're playing music at high volumes for an extended period of time, the heat caused by running all the electronics inside it at that high level could cause the accuracy to decrease. But just because the sensors aren't perfect doesn't mean they aren't useful. You can do far more than just keeping an eye on the temperature of your rooms. For instance, if you have a smart thermostat without multi-zone AC, it's at a fixed position in the house. But just because the thermostat is in that room doesn't mean it's where you spend most of your time. Depending on your house's layout, the temperature could vary several degrees from one room to another. That's the case for me, as the best room to store my server in is unfortunately the room where the thermostat is. The server heats up the room more than the rest of the house and can lead to the heat not turning on when other rooms could use it, or running AC for longer than is strictly necessary. In some cases, rather than running heat or cooling, all the AC would really have to do is just circulate the air throughout the house to equalize the temperature. With that in mind, you can use the temperature from your HomePod Mini to either control your thermostat or fans. Exactly how you want to set it up could vary, but for me, I have the HomePod Mini downstairs while the main thermostat is upstairs. If the HomePod Mini is a few degrees below where I want the house, it just makes sure the AC's fan is running. It does the same thing if it's too warm. It also doesn't have to be the AC's fan you turn on. If you have standing or overhead fans, you could have it enable those based on the temperature being either too warm or too cold for your liking. But what if you just want to control the AC based off the location of the HomePod, ignoring the temperature of the thermostat altogether? Well, you can do that, but it is a bit of a hacky solution. If you have an Ecobee thermostat, the easier solution would just be to get one of their first-party sensors and use it within their software as the only temperature control device. To avoid needing to buy any extra hardware to make this work, you'll need to make a few more HomeKit automations. There are definitely other ways to make this work with software like Home Assistant, but this setup keeps everything within the Home app. I have a Nest thermostat that I've connected to HomeKit through Hoobs, but any HomeKit connected thermostat should work. Start by creating a new automation based on when the temperature sensor in the HomePod is above a temperature at the higher end of what you'd consider comfortable indoors. You'll add both the setting that turns on or off the AC and the one that changes the set temperature. You'll have the automation turn on the AC and set the target temperature several degrees lower than it would be in your house at any point. Don't worry about this being too cold. Your AC is still basing its temperature off the room your thermostat's in, so you want it to be colder than that room will ever be. After you enable that automation, you'll need another one to actually turn off the AC once it reaches the desired temperature. For that, add a new automation based on the temperature of the HomePod, and make this one a few degrees colder than the previous one. You'll set this automation to turn off the AC when it gets below that temperature. The reason you don't want to have the automations turn on and off your AC at the exact same point is to avoid short cycling your AC unit. Short cycling is when your AC turns on and off repeatedly within the span of just a few minutes. That adds extra wear and tear to the unit. It's better for your AC to run for a while, shut off, and then let the temperature slowly fluctuate back up rather than trying to keep your house's temperature precise to the degree. With those automations set, the temperature in the room where your HomePod is will fluctuate between the lower and higher temperature you have set in automations, turning on and cooling down whenever it reaches above the higher temperature, and then turning off whenever it reaches below the cooler temperature. You can create this in reverse with heating for in the winter, setting it to turn on the heat and raise the temperature above your desired temperature if it gets too cold, and then setting it to turn off once it gets a few degrees above that. And make sure to turn off the automations for cooling before you turn on the ones for heating, and vice versa. Of course, you also have that humidity sensor. You can use that for automations as well, either with a humidifier or dehumidifier based on your needs. So there it is. Your HomeKit, Home Hub, and smart speaker just got a bit better, potentially saving you about $20 if you were planning to buy a separate smart temperature sensor. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, consider leaving a like. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're interested in more HomeKit and smart home focused content, and subscribe to the channel for more from 9 to 5 Mac.